Hey guys, man, oh man, this just occurred to me. But before I really get into that, let me share this video. It didn't happen the way I wanted it to. Give me 1 second. Trying to share this this live. Share, copy link. It is not copied. Let me go over to Insta, to the entity party, and paste this sucker. Let's see if that works. Okay. I'm actually in a very uplifted mood right now. I'm just kind of like clear. Some realizations I've had this morning that I'm just like stuff I guess I've been kind of in denial about and I've been running away from. And it's like it's been out of fear. It's been out of fear. Like I realized it today. It's like it's been out of fear. And it's like but there's an element of necessity of that fear. And I think the necessity of that fear is the fear of being in some sort of a box or being, defined by something. But most of the other reasons, and I know I'm being very cryptic right now, and very, very mysterious like a Scorpio does, especially a 12th house Scorpio. But I reveal a lot of my secrets through my actions, hence why I also have Mars in the 12th house. So kind of letting you guys know one of my secrets right now. So it's like, it really has occurred to me that I've been kind of denying myself of what I really want out of the fear that I won't, and this may sound kind of weird, may get some sort of reward, but I don't think reward is really the best word. I think it's the law of equal exchange. When you pour your heart into something, or you find something that really does make you light up and makes your heart light up like a child, and it's just effortless. When you find that, that is something that one really should cherish and hold on to. And I wouldn't even necessarily say hold on to tightly, because if you hold on to something too tightly, it causes stress and tension. But something that is just like you embrace and accept. I think it's like when it comes to like my spiritual path and what I've gone through over these past several years and discovering, astrology and tarot and this different metaphysics and how it really has opened me up to so much. But also through my poetry, through my painting, through dancing. How dancing for me has become a very healing spiritual modality, one that I want to bring to the collective and integrate all these other aspects as well. It's like kind of occurred to me that that's like I haven't really put my all into those things out of fear of being rejected by my family, by society, and by people that don't get it, you know. And I think we all have this. And it has occurred to me that we live in a day and age where we shame people for beliefs, and that's not something that we should do. We should not shame people for what they believe in. We should not proclaim that one belief is over another. We should not proclaim that the God of our belief is the only God. We should not proclaim that. What we should proclaim is love, unconditional love. Unconditional love is, like I said, love without conditioning, which means that love is actually fixed, which is Leo. Because if you think about it, if you condition something, that means that you are trying to change the nature of such. So think of like an air conditioner. Think if you have a house without air conditioning, the nature of that house would be that it's just going to be hot and muggy. But if you actually install an air conditioner, it actually changes what would otherwise be natural in that house and then makes it cooler, right? Unconditional love is love without conditioning. It's love without the necessity to change it, which if you look at love, when I think of love, I do think of Leo energy. Not that there's not love in all the other signs, because they're all one technically, but it's like, and that's what the 13th sign is. But it's all one energy. It's all one love. But Leo really is sort of the champion of this energy. So when you think of Leo, it's the 5th house. You do think of the heart. You do think of children. You do think of joy, passion, play, love, romance. And it's fixed for a reason. It's fixed for a reason. But it's not belief that is fixed. It's love that is fixed. The love that we have in our heart is really unchangeable. But what happens is that we have a lot of these perceptions and all of these layers on top of that that clouds our judgment, that clouds the love that we give. My elbow just like vibrated. And it's funny because this morning, like, I woke up and I don't know, it's like I was just sort of like in a weird space because I had a very weird dream last night. A very weird dream. And then it was like I saw a video YouTube that I wanted to watch. I watched it. I watched a couple of his other videos, and then I was interested. I was like, what are the core tenets of Islam? What are the core tenets of Judaism? Because I kind of know the core tenets of Christianity. Because I guess you could say I grew up Christian or in a Christian home, but we bounced from church to church. So it was like, and we had certain churches that we would stay at for extended periods of time, but we would bounce around and stuff like that. So it's like, which I don't think is actually really all that unique to me, because I know a lot of people that probably have. I'm sure a lot of people have probably bounced around, but I grew up Christian. So it was like, but then at some point we began to, pretty much my whole family began to just kind of open up to the possibilities of, that there's more to this reality than, this particular set of beliefs. So it was like, I started looking into Islam and Judaism just out of curiosity. And then they all proclaim that there is really just, this one God, and you should not have any gods before me and stuff. But it's funny how in astrology, beliefs and religion fall under the domain, and not that they're limited, but they fall under the domain of Sagittarius and Pisces, which is mutable fire and mutable water. And I thought about this like not too long ago, not too long before coming on here. I thought about this and I was like, it really is a shame, and it's kind of fucked up that we here in this day and age still want to champion certain beliefs over others. and want to persecute entire groups of people for their belief because we believe it's not the one true belief. I think it's really fucked up. And I really want to make it part of my mission. Now, I think I'm realizing part of my mission today. And I have no issue talking about this because it shouldn't be a secret. My Scorpio is like, no, don't tell them. But it's funny because, like I said, I'm a 12th house Scorpio sun. So it's like, yeah, it's going to come out. It's going to come out one way or another. So it's like, I want to live in a world where we don't make each other feel bad about what they believe in. Because I think when it comes down to it, everyone's at different levels of their spiritual journey. And based off of where they are, they have adapted certain beliefs and certain ways of being that match that current frequency. And it serves them. But what's interesting about belief in this world is how we try to dominate certain beliefs over others and make them the one true belief, which is a fixed nature. It's of a fixed nature. But Sagittarius and Pisces are mutable signs. Adaptability, being able to change, mutable, moldable. I don't think we should make each other feel bad about what we believe in. No matter how off the wall we think that it is, you know. If it works for them, it works for them. But I also believe that in a world where we don't judge each other for our beliefs, that doesn't mean that an individual that holds a certain set of beliefs at a current time of their life, that it doesn't mean that they won't change, because the very nature of beliefs is mutable, it's changeable, it's adaptable. So if we lived in a world where we didn't try and dominate certain beliefs over another, I guess there are certain individuals that will wonder, like, oh, they're always going to be that way. They're always going to believe in that thing. No, that's not true at all. That's not true at all. Because they will change. They will morph. Because they will have experiences. They will have to adapt. And I think it's in that world where intuition will really reign like supreme, where we actually do trust our intuition. Where we're like, you know what, if this doesn't work for me at this current time, then you move from it. But if it does work for me, cool. Beliefs are meant to mold and change over time. They are meant to. They're supposed to. I think a lot of the fear mongering with it is the fact that we do have Neptune in Pisces right now, and it will stay there until, was it like 2024 or something like that? Or is it 2026? It's something like that. Like, it's going to be there for a while. And then, of course, we have Jupiter in its home sign. And I'm pretty sure Jupiter will catch up to Neptune before Neptune goes into Pisces. So these energies will meet. Probably at the tail end of Pisces too. I don't want to make anyone feel bad about what they believe in, even if it doesn't resonate with me. Why? Because the very nature of belief is mutable, and is changeable and adaptable. And I have to trust that everybody will change when needed. The problem is that we have tried to make religion and belief fixed. And you can't do that. You can't do that. Fixed energy is Taurus energy, which really doesn't have, it has to do with value and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, there's certain things that we could do that are fixed, like, value. Like it's kind of fixed that, food comes under the realm of Taurus. So it's like, it's kind of fixed that if you eat nothing but sweets, you're going to get a cavity. Like, that's kind of fixed, Yes, you have Gemini that comes after, and then that's when you kind of learn, like, oh, well, with your mind your mind is very powerful, and maybe there are certain realms and realities where if you eat sweets, it's actually, the healthiest thing that you can do. But, just to be real, in this current reality, if you eat nothing but sweets, you'll get a cavity. If you eat nothing but bread and pasta, you'll probably gain weight. You know, if you drink nothing but alcohol, then you'll probably get liver poisoning. That's fixed. What else is fixed? Leo, passion, love. That one's a little that I think that's what's interesting about it is because, you know, as far as a fixed energy, I think Leo, it's since it's fire, and fire does give life, and it does give light. It's like it's a little bit different with Leo because it's actually almost sort of elusive. But then Leo's, it's like it's elusive, but then at the same time, it's like very much so in your face. So it's like the elusiveness is sort of like a moon and Leo kind of energy, you know. But then it's very much so in your face. But it's love. That is fixed. Scorpio, fixed. Scorpio coming after the sign of relationships, and it's about these waters. So it's about fixed waters. So it's about these icebergs in our life in many ways, or the still water in our life. That's that Scorpio energy after you've expressed your love with Leo, after you've, you know, integrated that love into your daily routine, your daily life with Virgo, after you built the relationships with Libra, then you get to how do you feel about all of that? And there you get, and then that's the Scorpio energy, you know. But it's fixed water. And why do you think mutable fire comes after fixed water? Because the only thing that could probably break up that iceberg is mutable fire. That's the only thing that could break it up. That's why it comes after it. That's why it comes after it, because after you go through that transformation and that darkness of the Scorpio, and don't get it twisted, Scorpio can very much still be light as well. I do believe that Scorpio is a very misunderstood sign. It's probably why I incarnated as it in this lifetime. You know, it's a very misunderstood sign, and Scorpio gives off a lot more light than people, give it credit for. But it's the darkness of all of these emotions that we've accumulated up to this point. And then you get like this iceberg. How do you melt an iceberg? Do you go the cardinal fire way and just kind of just go to war with it, like Aries? No. Do you do the fixed fire way with Leo? No, because Leo doesn't come after Scorpio, and there's probably a reason for that. It's probably a reason why fixed fire comes after cardinal water, because that emotion of Cancer, which is very misunderstood as well. It's about how our emotions can help us to direct and guide and give us some sort of direction in life, you know. But then sometimes, our emotions, they direct us and guide us into weird places. If we have that energy kind of, if we're not like fully tapped into that Cancer energy and it's like it's exalted in its most beneficial state. So what happens if our emotions are guiding us and directing us into certain areas that may not necessarily be super beneficial? How do we know what the right direction is? Your heart, Leo. Love, unconditional love. That's how you know. Then you're supposed to create a reality around it, Virgo. And then you start to develop these relationships, Libra, which is another cardinal sign. What happens when these relationships come into your day-to-day reality, and how do they direct things? And then bam, you have how you feel about it. That's Scorpio, fixed water. But then how do you break up that iceberg? It's with that Sagittarius energy. Hope, trust, belief. And since it's mutable fire, it's very much so unseen. It's very much so unseen. It's very much so unseen. Since it's mutable, it's like, it's elusive almost in a way. It's elusive. But what we've done in this world is crazy. How we have actually taken certain beliefs and try to champion them over others when beliefs aren't fixed. And they were never meant to be fixed. What was meant to be fixed is how we love ourselves and how we love each other. That is meant to be fixed. It's funny, I drew the card of compassion today. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I look out into the world and it's like people are trying to champion their beliefs over others, talking about they have the one true God and stuff like that. And I'm sitting here like, you know what? If that works for you, cool. But I can't vibe with the whole thing that, you got it right and these people got it wrong. It's not very compassionate. It's not very compassionate. If belief and stuff like that fell under the jurisdiction of Leo, then every single movie that came out in theaters would be about these messiahs and stuff like that. Every single one of them would be. And if it really did fall under the jurisdiction of Leo, then also that would create this sort of idolatry too in these particular figures and stuff like that. And I think that's one of the big issues that comes in here, is this idolatry that kind of comes with religion and stuff, is that we idolize particular people. And it's funny how they said, we're not supposed to have idols, whatever that. People know that they have idols, this whole idolatry thing. But that's not what they wanted if they existed. That's not what they wanted. I believe that there are truths in all of these religions and these beliefs, and I believe that if they help people to be better, and if they help people to live a more compassionate and unconditional loving life, I think that that's beautiful and groovy. But I don't think we should champion anyone over another. That includes astrology, which I think astrology is more of a science. But it is a belief as well. So I mean, that's the whole thing. Do I think I'm probably going to study astrology for the rest of my life. Will I do readings for the rest of my life? I don't know. I probably won't, to be honest with you. And that's okay. That's actually okay. I'm here to actually evolve our understanding of astrology, because I think astrology itself has become a bit of a box and a belief that needs to be broken down, And beliefs are naturally mutable. So it's like, these eclipses that we're coming into are going to be insane, guys. I'm going to make videos on them. I just want to come on here and talk a little bit, just because it's crazy what we do to each other, and how I've noticed that I have been made to feel bad, not necessarily directly, but I've been made to feel bad about what I'm doing here and my beliefs, and and these sort of new age, not really new age metaphysics, and astrology and all this sort of stuff, and tarot, and how it's like, I've been sort of made to feel bad or guilty about what I'm practicing, but yet it's these things that I've been practicing that have given me a deeper understanding of who I am and the world that I live in, and has helped me to unlock experiences that I didn't think I would unlock otherwise. That's just for this current season in my life. This season could last another 5, 10 years. It could last 50 years. It couldn't last tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow I'll decide to do something else. But it's like, for now, it works. And I don't think we should make people feel bad about what works for them when it comes to these mutable energies. We're supposed to naturally change anyways. So it's like no one's really stagnant or in a box when it comes to these things. That's why it's so hard to hold a fish. It's going to squirm out of your hands unless you kill the damn thing. But like a live fish, if you ever try to hold a live fish, it's hard to fucking hold. So why are people trying to hold that Piscean energy? Why are people trying to hold religion and stuff like that? You're not supposed to hold it. You're not supposed to hold the fish. You're not supposed to hold it. Now look at mutable air, Gemini. You're not supposed to hold these thoughts. You're not supposed to hold them. And then Virgo, which is very elusive too. It's kind of interesting. Mutable earth, you know. You're not supposed to just hold on to it either, you know. These manifestations, what we can become and stuff like that, you know. You're not supposed to just hold on to them either. Even something as physical as food, which is kind of like that Taurus energy, when we consume it, it doesn't maintain that same form. It breaks down, which is why Virgo rules health too. It breaks down. The body has to break down that physical, seemingly static, seemingly, you know, solitary food item. It breaks it down in our body. Our teeth help to break it down into a different form that our body can actually use. Mutable. Sagittarius, fire, all that's mutable. This is crazy, guys. It's crazy. We shouldn't be doing this to each other. It makes me sad that we do it to each other. And hopefully I can do what I can to not make people, I don't want people to feel bad about it and feel guilty about it and feel anxious about their thoughts and be stressed out about, you know, what they believe in and what works for them, you know? I don't want people to feel bad about that. I don't want to feel bad about that because we shouldn't be made to feel bad about that. We shouldn't be made to feel bad about that. You know? And I'm talking about beliefs. I'm not talking about politics and that sort of stuff. That's Capricorn's domain. You know? Someone may believe in, you know, I get someone may believe in guns rights, but I don't think that falls under the jurisdiction of Sagittarius or Neptune. I think that falls under the jurisdiction of Capricorn. So it's like, you know, somebody may believe that they should that you have to, I don't know, kill people, like kill a certain number of people before, you know, you can get into a certain group or get into favor with something like that. And I'm like, I feel like that's more Capricorn. I don't feel like that's really Sag or Pisces, you know. That's an interesting thing about Sag and Pisces, though, is like you can convince people to do some pretty crazy, fucked up things, you know. But these mutable energies, in and of themselves, aren't action oriented. So it's like you can convince someone of a belief in Sagittarius, and then they will act on it with the Capricorn. So the action itself isn't really like, it's kind of linked to the belief, but it's not really the belief. It's a response to it. It's a response, you know. So it's like, you know, I was just thinking about that sort of stuff and just kind of pondering, and you know, it's Yeah, it's fun. It's been interesting and stuff. And I don't want, if you take anything out of this, it's just that I don't feel bad about what you believe in. Don't feel bad about it. You know, if it comes to a point where it simply doesn't resonate anymore, still don't feel bad about it. But also don't necessarily hold on so tight to it where you begin to have this stress and your hands begin to get ready. Like, you know, when you like hold tight, it's like that doesn't feel good. Like holding on tight to something doesn't really feel good, right? Gotta release. Gotta release. You know? So it's like, you know, they're not something that we should just hold on tight to when it comes to these beliefs, these religions, you know. And an incredible amount of trust has to go into knowing when is the right time to change and morph and mutate, you know. A lot of trust and faith has to go into that. I think that, you know, naturally though, you know, we will, even if we are holding on tight. That's why, you know, when the moon hits these energies or the sun hits these energies or any other planet starts to activate these energies, it naturally starts to happen on its own. So it's like, even if we don't necessarily know when the time to act is or know when the time to change our beliefs or a change into something that's more resonant with our heart, I think it just kind of naturally happens, you know. And I think a big reaction to all this sort of stuff has to do with the fact that we do have Chiron in Aries now, and now you got to think Chiron is, you know, one of the rulers of Virgo energy. A lot of people like to say it's Mercury. I believe it's Chiron and a host of planets, really, and a host of asteroids and minor planets rule Virgo. But you have Chiron, it's doing a healer, and now it's in Aries. So it's like that Virgo energy and the way that, you know, how we respond after the sun goes through the space of Leo, the heart, love, passion, romance, you know, and we respond to it in this sort of Virgo way, beginning to morph our reality to match that what our heart wants to express, right? The ruler of that Virgo energy, Chiron, is now in Aries. So it's like we were having to deal with a lot of these wounds when it comes to that cardinal fire energy, which does trine Leo, by the way. Now we're having to heal a lot of like just how we act and react in general, you know. We're having to heal a lot of that. And we're having to like man up and woman up and actually be take on this sort of like warrior like energy. You gotta think like it's funny how Chiron like, is the wounded healer, but Chiron was a warrior, and now it's in the sign of Aries. So it's like it's almost like Chiron has almost sort of come back home in a sense in Aries, where it's like, but it's also it's almost like a sports player who like has like this love for their sport and then they get an injury and then they when they come back to the sport after that injury they're not the same again. So I think what's happening right now and why a lot of people are hurt and confused is because it's like we were once really good or a warrior at something, or we were once like kind of championing something, and now that Chiron has come back in that space, it's sort of like we're wanting to engage with it, and it's not quite meeting up because it's like we've been hurt. It's like, you know, a basketball player, for example, is like, say a basketball player is like a great basketball player star or whatever like that, and then they get like an ACL tear and they come back to the game. Their game is fundamentally changed. They may still be good, but they're never gonna play like they did before. You know, that's what Chiron coming back into Aries is. It's like we've come back to these areas in our life where it's like we were proficient at this. We were champions. We were warriors at this. We were athletes at this, you know, and passionate about it. But we sustained some type of injury, and now we can't quite play that game like we used to. So it's a giant ego check because it's like, this is all I've ever, it's like for some people, it's like, this is all I've ever known. You're saying now that I'm trying to play this game, I can't play it in the way that I used to? You know? It's crazy. And if, Chiron does actually rule Virgo, that means that it would not like to be in Pisces, right? So yeah, Chiron is kind of relieved in a sense, you know? But at the same time, going into Aries is sort of like, it's like now it's like, while I was in Pisces, it was pretty much injured. And now that Chiron is back into Aries, it's sort of like, going from that mutable water to cardinal fire, how we direct that passion and that love, how we direct that energy, how we direct that fire and stuff like that. It's like, it's fundamentally changing. It's fundamentally changing. It's fundamentally changing. And we're having to deal with the blowback of that and the realization that it is fundamentally changing. Chiron lately has been dealing with beliefs and fantasies and delusions and illusions. It's been so focused on that. And now it's gone to this fixed fire kind of quality where it's like waking up from a dream and then kind of going back into what you did before and realizing that you're not the same. You're just simply not the same. And that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So, that's all I really wanted to talk about. Yeah, so I haven't, if anyone's been like commenting and like the live chat or anything like that, I don't have it like up on the second screen anywhere. So if you or asking stuff, I haven't really looked at. If anything, I might do like I might do like another live tonight because it's so funny. It's like I manifested something today, and it was sort of like, this is actually like exactly what I needed, because I've been thinking about my path, my purpose, what I'm supposed to be doing right now and stuff, and just like how I have been kind of not doing things out of fear and stuff. And then I look up this place, that's having this event that's like perfectly aligned for me, and it's a free event, which is cool. But it's like I would pay for it too if it was a paid event, but it's like a free event, and it's like in line with like, it's talking about how to overcome anxiety and overthinking, and I've been talking about that. That's like perfectly like right up my alley, because that's like one of my big hurdles right now, big challenges, is how to overcome anxiety and overthinking things, and it's kind of crazy how that happened. And the only reason I looked it up because I was like, maybe I should reconsider like going back there and seeing if I can do something and expand upon what I'm doing now as far as my spiritual work. And then if I find this event that's happening today, I'm like, this is kind of perfect because the moon in Aries is in my 4th house going into my 5th house. So it's because I'm in Placidus, my 5th house cusp of Aries is 22 degrees, and right now the moon's at 18 degrees, which means that it's actually making squares over to this Capricorn energy and this Cancer energy. But anyways, I can go all day. But yeah, it's crazy how I manifested that. I'm like, wow, this is, here's your sign. So it's like, some of you may know that reference. I hope some of y'all know that reference, but if you don't, then it's okay. Yeah, we shouldn't make each other feel bad for what we believe in. And I want to make it a point to, do what I can so we can live in a world where we don't make each other feel bad for our beliefs. Because even if they're crazy, off the wall, and very fantasy, and like maybe we may think someone may be delusional, someone may think that we're delusional, we have to realize that the very nature of belief is mutable and changeable and adaptable based off of our situations and circumstances at that given time and our experiences leading up to it. So there's no need to make anyone feel bad about their belief, whatever like that. Because even if we don't necessarily agree with them, they may change into a belief that more or less aligns with ours. But also the opposite is true. It's like they may come over and they may sort of like begin to align with your beliefs, but then you may begin to morph into what they believe in. You kind of flip sides, which is kind of nice because then you get each other's perspective and perception. And it actually allows for this integration of truth in many ways because you're able to see things from each other's perspective. I'm going to end it there. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. And I will see you all later. And as always, my beautiful brothers and sisters, always remember to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and Yahoo! Smile often.